The Spurs are playing really, really well this season, but are they NBA title contenders already this season?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're in the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. And by the way, Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. Hope you're having a great day, maybe a short work day, so you can get ready to spend time with your family and friends tonight, or get ready for tomorrow when Santa visits your home. So have a good one. So from us, from Locked On Spurs to y'all and all the guests that have been on this year, we wish y'all a very Merry Christmas. Don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Spurs, or get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. Go subscribe ASAP. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. By the way, thank y'all for making the Locked On Sports Network the #1 sports network in this nation. We really appreciate it. Keep on getting those numbers up. What are we talking about today? Is it a little too premature already? You know, can we say this Spurs team are already title contenders this season? Yeah, can they make a really deep push in the postseason? Maybe get to the Western Conference Finals? Maybe push that to 6-7 games? Maybe really put a scare to Denver and the Thunder and all their other West powerhouses? We're going to talk about why the Spurs could be contenders this season and why they ultimately probably not. Are we get to that? And then we have some Christmas wishes to give to the Spurs. Yeah, we give them a Christmas wish. Well, hopefully that wish will come true. Hopefully there's no bad wishes. I don't think there'll be bad wishes. We're going to bring in our guest, join us by audio today. He is Raul Dominguez of the AP Sports. Follow him on X at Dominguez5. Merry Christmas, Raul.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. I hope you're having a good one. Don't eat too much, though. Don't eat too much, you know.
I'm still doing my Christmas shopping, so don't have time to eat.
Waiting to the last minute. By the way, I just go to my family, go like, all right, pick a bag. All right, that's your gift card. That's your gift card. Okay, kids, you get cash and we're good. There you go. And then just show me what you bought, and I'll say, hey, Merry Christmas. All right, there you go. That's how I do it. But no, I don't have kids, everybody, so I don't have to prepare for Santa. But those days are done for you, right, Raul?
Well, I mean, they're older now, but they still expect gifts. So it's a little bit more expensive. It's not the Hot Wheels anymore or anything like that. So,
Raul, I'll take those Hot Wheels if you're not gonna put them away. I'll take them. That's for sure. I'll definitely take it. By the way, I'm gonna put myself on full screen, Raul, because I want you to really appreciate this. I'm inside the Falcon today.
Nice.
Yeah. We're gonna go out on Christmas Eve in the Falcon. All right. Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Falcon in the background somewhere, though, man.
I gotta figure out a way where I could put the guest on the co-pilot spot. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Figure a way to do that. That'd be awesome. Raul will be just distracted the whole time, going, "Where's the hyperdrive? Where's the hyperdrive? I gotta press it. Press it." All right, Raul. We're gonna dive into today's episode, and we talked about Raul with this before we hit record. We're like, okay, so we want to talk about why they are contenders and why they're not. And Raul said, no, let's talk about why they are first. And because I think he's right, because I think the next segment we'll say why they're not probably going to be the bulk of the show. But Raul, can I show you my list of why I think the Spurs are contenders?
Yeah, definitely.
And there you go. All right, here's my 5 reasons why I think the Spurs are NBA title contenders this season. And let's start off with number 1, Wembanyama. He is a force on both ends of the court. He has shown when he's out playing that he can make an impact, alter a game from an impending loss to a probable win in an instant. His presence alone on the defensive end makes opposing players rethink whether or not they should go in for a basket. His length, we all know what he can do. There's nothing I'm going to say right now that y'all don't know. But just Wemby alone pushes the Spurs into that NBA title contention this season. Number 2, they've already proven that they can beat the best in the NBA. They beat in Denver. They beat the Thunder in the Cup tournament. They've beaten the Magic in their gym. The list goes on, and they've been doing it without Wemby. So, Raul, they've proven that they can win even at times without Victor Wembanyama. Number 3, Raul, I say the Spurs are are they in a weak West now? It seems to be very top heavy. It's likely just going to be Thunder, Nuggets, Spurs, Rockets, maybe the Lakers. You see what I'm trying to get is after that number 4 spot, you start wondering, like, is it Houston? Is it the Lakers? The Clippers are all, but just a shipwreck right now. Phoenix, maybe. Golden State, maybe. You start going more questions, and then you do. Yes, they are title or playoff spots in the West. So I really believe the West is just top heavy, and the Spurs maybe just have to deal with 3 teams. Now, those are big teams, but nevertheless, better than a full field of 8. Number 4, Raul, I have insane depth. This team has depth at almost every spot. They can throw wave after wave at opposing teams on both ends of the court. And finally, a possible home court advantage for most of the playoff run. Raul, when you look at this list, what stands out for you?
All of it, but certainly the Wembanyama. I mean, he's from his rookie season, he's proven he's a force, on both ends, and I think the difference this season is he has people around him that can help him take a little bit of pressure off. Before the season before Spurs drafted Wembanyama, Coach Pop was talking about how this team was still developing, but he says Pop said, you can't win without at least 2 superstars or 2 stars. And he was hoping, that a guy like Devin or Keldon, I think they had already traded DeJounte, but he was hoping that they kind of developed that, but he needed at least 1 superstar. Of course, they got it with Wemby, but, even what Pop says, you still need another one. And Spurs have gotten that now with the trade for De'Aaron, Castle's development, Harper's playing well, and they kept, Keldon and Devin and the supporting cast. So, but definitely Wemby. When Wemby's out there, Spurs are a good team. When Wemby's out there, they're a great team, and it's hard to defend them. Teams are trying different ways to defend him, and it seems like he is definitely starting to figure out how to go against those defenses. He put a little man on him. He's starting to put those shots up, even if it's kind of off balance, whatever. He's putting the shot up so he can get to the free throw line. He put a big guy on him. He's spinning around him for dunks. He's running the court, so he's starting to figure all this out. Defensively, teams are throwing stuff at him, and he's figured it out pretty quickly. So that it's dangerous for other teams right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go back to the list here, put it back on the screen for everybody. For me, yes, Wemby is the force. That's number 1. Why the contender? Just him alone. You have your superstar, but I want to add to what you said. More than 1 star, and the Spurs maybe have 3 on their hands right now. They have Fox, who's an established all-star, and Castle, who is just playing great this season. And you put those 3 guys together, that's a headache for opposing teams. And even for the best in the NBA or just the West alone. They were a handful for the Thunder. Those 3 have been a handful for the Nuggets. The list goes on and on. So maybe the Spurs already do have their more than 2 stars on the roster right now. I want to get your thoughts on a weak West. How do you see the West shaping up right now? Is it top heavy?
It is right now, but as far as that, I mean, some of these teams, dealing with injuries and some of the rotations, and it seems like the last couple of seasons, some of the good teams, started out kind of slowly and then came on, and if you're one of the higher seeds, you don't want to face them. I think with Golden State was a low seed. I think it was last season, their season before, and won their first round matchup. I believe it was Memphis, maybe, but I kind of see that happening again. I mean, you look at Golden State right now. Golden State is 8th, and they're having a little bit of trouble. On Draymond, walked out on the huddle, went back to the locker room the other night. I think they're going to get that straightened out. And then also, at trades, the West teams are known for making, big trades at the trade deadline to sort of bolster their teams. So, I think I could see like a Golden State or a Phoenix picking up someone. You look at Minnesota. Minnesota's right now 5th in the standings.
Right.
They've got a great squad. I think they'll move up. Lakers, with Luka, you're always going to be dangerous with them. So I think it's a little top heavy right now, but I think some of those older veteran teams like Phoenix, Golden State, Minnesota, I think they're going to come on. So I think by the end of the season, you're going to have 8 really strong teams, and it's not going to be easy for the top seeds.
Yeah.
But right now, it's the time to maybe create a little distance between the bottom and the top for teams like San Antonio, Oklahoma City, and Denver.
Yeah, I look at that possible home court point. That will help this young team have a deep playoff run if they can get it. If they stay around 2 or 3, they're going to have some, at least a few rounds where the road has to go through San Antonio. I think that will help the Spurs because they play very, very well at home. Raul, one more look at this list here before we hit the break here. Do you want to add anything else to why they are contenders this season?
You talked about just the depth. I mean, they're have to deal with some injuries and haven't quite been at the full force yet. I think they played. I think it's 5 games, maybe less, with the entire roster present.
Mm-hmm.
I think that depth is just really going to help them out. It's helping them out now. I think it's going to help them out in the future. In case something happens, in case they get in foul trouble, they can bring in a cornet for a Wemby. They can bring in, Harper, for either Fox or Castle, or even put them out there with them. So I think that the depth that Brian Wright has created is really valuable to the team, especially with Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's depth is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Spurs are one of the few teams that can match up with them, not only with their starters but with their depth. And that's the thing about Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City just comes at you in waves.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Spurs are one of the few teams that can match that depth.
Yeah.
So I think definitely the depth is going to be a really key factor, and just the fact that they don't lose as much as they used to when Wemby's off the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, look, those are some great points that you brought up, and the list showed right there. Yeah, nobody cannot laugh at somebody if they make an argument why the Spurs are a title contending team this year. We just hit on a lot of the big points there. And there's a legitimate argument why they probably are. But what about the other side? Why aren't they title contenders this season? Let's talk about that coming up next, right here on Locked On Spurs with our guest, Raul Dominguez of the AP Sports. He's on X at Dominguez Cinco. Follow me on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The holiday season is one of the best times for sports, bowl games, big basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while we're making choices every day, one of the most fun places to make the right call is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the easiest way to get in on the daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, lock in your lineup, and you're in the game. It's simple, fast, available in 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Prize Picks has added an extra layer of excitement to the holiday sports schedule. Creating a lineup takes less than a minute, and the app makes the whole process smooth and intuitive. You can choose from a huge range of unique stats, fantasy scores, field goals, attempted, free throws made, turnovers, whatever fits your strategy. Deposits and withdrawals are quick and easy, which keeps everything flowing. And the new Stacks feature lets you choose a player up to 3 times in one lineup, like more on a QB's passing yards, touchdowns, and rushing yards. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 bet. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Spurs with no interruptions, members only, Discord access, and so much more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Check the link in the show notes to learn more. Raul, you're always a title contender every day.
Is that with Logan Paul, I guess, or what was his name?
Did you see that fight?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, lopsided fight there. Welcome back right here on Locked On Spurs. We are asking the big question right now: are the Spurs title contenders this season? There's a legitimate argument. You can say, yeah, the Spurs might have a shot at having a deep postseason run and knock on that door of the NBA Finals. They really, really could. But as much as there are reasons why they are, there are also a lot of reasons why they're not. Raul, let me give you my next list here, why the Spurs are not title contenders. And the first one jumps out at me: unproven in the postseason. This is a young team. The closest they've gotten to some sort of playoff atmosphere was the NBA Cup tournament. Still doesn't compare to the action, the intensity, the little things you have to do in the NBA postseason. This team has no postseason experience. They're going to finally break the drought of making it to the playoffs. Yay, but still got to win the playoffs. So that's point number one. Number two, and I think this highlights as to the inexperience. They've already lost to the Suns twice, a team they could face in the postseason, and the Warriors beat them in San Antonio, where they flex that championship pedigree. Number three, as much as it rides with Wembanyama to go far, also rides with him not going for his health. He's been in and out this season, coming off the bench, out for extended period of time. Now, some of the stuff is beyond his control. He had a passing in his family. Of course, the Spurs are going to spur. They're going to slow his return as much as they can. But nevertheless, Wemby's health is an issue that you got to keep an eye on. Number four, Mitch Johnson inexperience. What if he gets close to that end of the season run where he needs to make the adjustments versus maybe coaches that have been there, done that? What if they do get into the playoffs? And they likely are. Will he have enough of experience, enough know-how, IQ to make the right adjustment? Ultimately, the buck stops with him. He needs to get the guys in the right spot. Will his inexperience be a detriment to any type of long postseason run for the Spurs? And number five, lack of home court. If they somehow drop to number beyond 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, that happens. I doubt it. But if it does, that could bite them in the butt where they're going to have to win away from San Antonio. And if there's a game 7, it's not in your gym, and that's where the inexperience shows up. Raul, you've been on the side of pump the brakes, everybody. This team is not title contenders yet. You look at the list, Raul, what stands out for you? What do you want to add?
I think that that we even talked about it during the preseason, during the summer before the season began. People weren't as high on the Spurs as they should have been. I said I thought that they could be a top 4 seed, maybe 4 or 5, maybe even higher. I just felt like the Spurs had so much talent and so much depth that I thought it was going to be impossible for them not to do well in the regular season. But I did say that I was a little unsure how they were going to do in the postseason because of that inexperience. I wasn't sure if they were going to be a team that sort of threw all their eggs in the basket, so to speak, during the regular season. You've seen young teams do that before where they try so hard and, want to win so bad that they kind of throw everything into the regular season. And then once the postseason comes, they don't have the experience. Maybe they're a little fatigued. Maybe, for whatever reason, they don't do well in the postseason. So that was the only thing that I was, considering. Again, like you mentioned, unproven in the postseason. The majority of the players, haven't played in the postseason. And then even De'Aaron, who I think people think has maybe good postseason experience. He only played 7 games. He played and he doesn't. Yeah, he played in one series with Sacramento. It was a 7-game series. It was a great series, but that was the only series that it was in the first round. So that's the only playoff experience he has. It's a different animal. Postseason's a different animal. Yeah. You kind of got a taste of it in the with the NBA Cup, but it's even more so in the postseason. Refs tend to swallow their whistles. During critical stretches, and then they see all of a sudden the whistle seems to appear back. In certain situations. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to impact the Spurs. With this youthful roster and having to play the same team. In the series, and yes, they're going to be able to kind of see what the other team's strengths or weaknesses are, in the series, and you can just kind of focus on that one team. But that team's also going to get the focus on the Spurs.
Yep.
So it's going to be a matter of adjustments. It's going to be a matter of playing hard, for 48 minutes. So I think that's a big thing with me. It's just inexperience. Not to say that they're certainly that they are definitely going to not do well in the postseason, but we don't know. I mean, there's no way we don't know what happens.
Yeah, we don't know. And then I want to go back. I put the image here back for everybody to watch and look. I went back to unproven in postseason, and so you trigger something in my brain right now when you said about Fox and putting things in perspective, how he doesn't really have a ton of playoff experience, but it is still playoff experience nonetheless. But you throw in, and I'm trying to temper this side of it. You throw in Cornette's experience with Boston winning a title and Harrison Barnes winning a title, and of course Fox having some NBA playoff experience. That could help the team. That definitely could help, but they can't go into the shoes of Vassell or the Keldon Johnson or Steph Castle and Harper, and they can't give them that experience. They can only advise them. So I think those three guys will help, and that will be a big X factor if they're going to have a deep playoff run. But man, I look at this list, and I know you got to get your experience somehow, and they're going to get it this year. But to me, the biggest issue on this list is number 3, Wembanyama health. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it isn't as big of a factor it was in the past, with them having Arnett and the depth. But at the same time, I mean, any team that loses a superstar is going to struggle, and especially with the Spurs. I mean, Wemby's such a unique player, such a dynamic player. I mean, every game I watch him, I'm just astonished by a play that he does, or offensively or defensively. Like he is such a unique talent. I mean, NBA has never seen anyone like Wembanyama. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what any of the analysts say. You don't see a guy that's 7'3" doing a Jamal Crawford crossover.
Exactly.
And doing dunking from outside the restricted area. His length, his athleticism. So he's such a dynamic player. Teams don't really have an answer for him. That they can try and slow him down. He has a kind of an off game, but you go into postseason, I don't think there's going to be a team who can be able to stop him for 7 games or, 4 games, whatever it is. His health is definitely going to be a very key factor, even with the Spurs depth, just because of matchups. I mean, teams are going to have to concentrate. They're going to kind of pick the poison. Either you concentrate on Wemby, maybe double team or triple team him, but then you leave Castle, you leave Harper, you leave Fox, you leave Barnes, you leave those guys open, or do you allow him to play one-on-one and let him do his thing, and then, maybe Fox goes off, maybe Castle goes off. So if he's not in that lineup, it's one less thing the opposing teams have to factor in. So, yeah, his health is a paramount to the Spurs title hopes.
Yeah, exactly. Everything starts and begins with him ultimately on both ends of the court. And so far this season, he's been in and out, and now coming off the bench. I believe yesterday's game versus the Thunder, he was questionable heading into that game. So you got to keep that in perspective too. You mentioned something real quick. I want to bring up how the postseason changes and it gets more physical. Yeah. Early this season, and even the preseason, what did Mitch Johnson talk about? Physicality. They got to use the physicality. Now, he hasn't used that phrase yet, and I think the Spurs have gotten better at it. But if you think teams are being physical with Wemby now, wait till the postseason begins. It goes up a notch. Can he deal with that? Can the whole team deal with the physicality of the postseason? And that's where the inexperience does come in. So let's go to give our verdict now. We looked at both sides of the coin. We got some points there. Where do you land, Raul? Is it too soon for them?
Well, this is tough. I looking at other teams, even look at Oklahoma City, as great as Oklahoma City is this season and last season, it took them a little while to get to this point. So I'm thinking the Spurs are kind of be on that same sort of that road, that same sort of trajectory. I think this season is a little too soon for them to be as far as to win an NBA championship. I think they can make the Western Conference Final. I think at that point it's depending on how they're playing, it could be anyone's game. But I think it's just going to be. I think they need another season of seasoning before you put them up there with the Spurs Big Three. During the Spurs Big Three, during their run, seemed like every season they were in line to win a championship. People thought they were going to win. I think starting next season you'll get that with this young Spurs. Mm-hmm. But I just think this season they're still building toward that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's too soon, and I think they need to have their pitfalls along the way. even everybody, shock everybody. Yes, Tim Duncan had to go through his pitfalls too before winning his first title, like losing to the Jazz in a playoff series. And even, remember this, he never defended his title as well. The Spurs never did as well. So winning an NBA title is tough. And the Spurs team is still unproven. They have, Raul, they definitely have the roster. They got the stars. They got the youth. They got a lot of everything, depth and veteran presence. But there's something about the experience that can really help them. And every team along their path to winning a title or having a great postseason success, they have to take their lumps. And this team has taken maybe one lump already, just losing in the Cup Finals. But, I mean, it's a game that doesn't even count. But so until they get an experience, I think that is what's going to push this team over the edge into really being serious contender. I think as early as next season, Raul. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, I think starting next season, you'll get the talk. Like it'll be annual. Like the Spurs victory every year. Spurs were title contenders. I think starting next season, you'll get that with this young group. But it's the postseason experience. It's knowing what you can get away with. Also, I know a lot of people don't like or say things about Oklahoma City and sort of the physical defense and the way they play. Oklahoma City realized that there's stuff that you can get away with, that they can get away with. That they're not doing anything illegal. As far as them getting suspended or anything like that. They're very physical. And they realized that they could do that in the postseason, and they've carried that over to the regular season. So, the little things, what you can get away with, what you can do on the court, your favorite spots, your favorite matchups, whatever. That just comes with experience, postseason experience, regular season experience, NBA experience. So I definitely think the Spurs, are on the right road. If they won a title this year, obviously that'd be awesome for the Spurs. It would mean that the schedule's way that they're way ahead of schedule. But I just think that the postseason is such a niche that they need to learn those little secrets that every good playoff team has.
Exactly, I'm with you. Yeah, I think it's a little too soon, but would not be surprised this season that they have a very deep playoff run. And then, of course, obviously, next season, they really start challenging and to be among the big boys, not just in the West, but in the entire NBA, chasing that ring. He is Raul Dominguez of the AP Sports. Follow him on X at Dominguez Cinco. Let us know what y'all think about our topic today. Too soon to be talking about this or not, considering how they've been playing this year. Let us know. Again, Dominguez Cinco on X, and let me know at Jeff G Spurs Zone. When we get back, we're going to give some Christmas wishes to yours, silver and black.
During basketball seasons, there's nothing like being in the building, the energy, the crowd, the first big run that gets everyone on their feet. Fans want to be there for those moments, not stuck refreshing screens or guessing for what tickets are really going to cost. That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets, fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing the Game Time app is straightforward and intuitive. Finding tickets takes just a few steps. See the views from your seat before buying, making choosing tickets easy and confident. Prices include fees up front, and the total is clear from start. Features like zone deals to help unlock great seats and even better value. Whether it's an NBA game or another live event, everything is right there in one place. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time app today. Get in on the action.
I always wonder why Rhino is there. It's like all the Miles Morales' variants are there, but random rhinos on the corner watching. He is Raul Dominguez of the AP Sports. Follow my next at Dominguez Cinco. Do that right now. All right. Well, it is Christmas Eve, and tomorrow's Christmas Day. There will be no Lockdown Spurs for tomorrow. Maybe a short, but as far as a full-on, probably not. But nevertheless,
you're gonna let the Grinch take over on that day.
My colleagues here at Lockdown Spurs, they're handling business tomorrow. They're going to be doing the Lockdown Spurs post-game show, Casey Vieira and Devin Brown. By the way, everybody, just real quick, if you want to hear some great stories about playing with the Spurs, listen to what Devin Brown has to say during our roundtable shows. it's interesting. For example, whenever they do silver and black scrimmages in training camp, there is a third team, and it's called the orange team.
Mm-hmm.
And that orange team is made of all the scrubs. Devin had to wear that jersey for a while.
Someone asked Devin about his time playing high school golf at West Campus. Not too many people know that, but when he was starring at West Campus High School in basketball, he was actually also a star player on their star golfer on their golf team. I remember covering him at Mission Del Lago, and was looking around for him, and he was very easy to spot. A lot of tiny kids, then you see this tall guy, on the box. So he was pretty easy to spot, but he was a pretty good golfer in high school.
Yeah. Well, he still golfs. He's still playing golf, and according to him, his score, par, or whatever it is, I don't play golf. His is pretty high. So there's even when he comes on Locked On Spurs, we schedule on his golf game. So he's all that stuff. But all right, so we're gonna give some Christmas wishes to your Silver and Blacks. How does this work? So we look at the squad right now, and what is something if we could give them a gift? What would it be? So an example, Christmas gift is a long postseason run. You get the idea. So that's kind of the vibe here. So I'll start things off here, and if I had to give the Silver and Black a Christmas gift, you know what? I would hope that they have Wemby healthy and back in the starting lineup ASAP. I know the Spurs are going to spur, and it seems like both sides are on board with this approach they've had regarding Wemby's health and return. They're coming off the bench, limited minutes. He hasn't played over not even close to 30 minutes since he's been back. He's always been hovering around the 20s. But if that's the Christmas gift I could give them is a healthy Wembanyama, healthy star player back in that starting lineup, being that beast that he is on both ends of the court. Raul, you think the Spurs will love that gift?
Oh, definitely. I mean, be great for the Spurs, the Spurs coaching staff, Spurs medical staff, Spurs, especially the Spurs fans,
Yeah.
I know when he doesn't play, Spurs fans are obviously disappointed because they want to see him. I mean, like I said, every game you watch, he does something extraordinary. So, I know fans that when they buy tickets and he's not there, there's, especially for the kids, there's a big disappointment. So if he stays healthy, obviously great on the court and then also great off the court as far as fans and being able to see, a once in a lifetime athlete.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when this whole road management thing was really a talking point. You're like really at its peak among, sports shows and everything. I always liked what Charles Barkley said. You remember what he said? He said, if a star player is going to be out for a game, then have him set up a booth where he can interact with fans, at least for a quarter or something like that, and sign autographs, take pictures. I always thought that was a kind of a happy middle, because if you do buy a ticket to a game to see a Wemby, see Luka, LeBron, whoever it is, if they're injured and are able to go out there, then set up a little table there, interact with fans. Always thought that was a good happy middle. What about you, Raul? What is your Christmas gift to the Spurs?
Yeah. First, I was going to add, the Wemby's actually done a pretty good job with that. I think the past two seasons when he was out late in the season, he actually went to the I believe it was both seasons, but I know one season he went actually to the ticket booth and was selling tickets.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I recall. Right.
He was walking around the concourse. I think he sent popcorn. So, credit to Wemby, for realizing, exactly what you said and, trying to give, the fans, a little bit more because he couldn't play. So, credit him and the, Spurs for doing that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I remember him doing that. Yes, that's excellent. Yeah, so good on Wemby and the Spurs. All right, Raul, what's your gift to the Silver and Black?
Mine's a little different. I mean, I would love to see not just for the Spurs, but for the Spurs fans, and I think the city as a whole is just. I would love to see Coach Pop at a Spurs game. Just like I know Pop, doesn't like the attention. I know Pop doesn't want to, he doesn't want to take any focus off the team or what's going on. But I would love to see him come to a game and he goes to games, but he's, kind of in, I don't know if he's in the suite or whatever, but we don't know. But we hear that he's at games. I don't know. It's every game, but we've heard that he's at games.
Mhm.
I would love to see him come out where people can see him. It would be awesome if some sort of ceremony where they acknowledge his banner up there. But just something, just so that people can cheer him, show him some love, and I think that would help the Spurs fans. It would help current Spurs, help former Spurs to see that he's doing better and that he's receiving the acknowledgement that he deserves. So I think that would be my Christmas wish for the for next year. When this season continues. Maybe at some point he comes out, or even if he just comes out just to go sit, in that little booth or something, a little area that a lot of Spurs officials sit. So I remember when Tim and Manu year after they retired.
Yeah, I do.
They would come out and sit there, and so you hear a big buzz, and you look over, and it's Tim or Manu or Tony walking to that little area, and people just cheering and excited to see them, and then they pop up on the jumbotron. So that I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be, I guess, my Christmas wish for the Spurs and the fans.
I'm with you. I don't think it'll happen. I think if it's going to happen, it's when they make the postseason, maybe just to charge up the fans at first game and at home, game one, postseason, show them in the stand, get the crowd going, cheering them on, kind of give some good mojo. But even then, what he would always say, he goes, "Do you think I go to that locker room and give him a Luke Rodney speech and all that stuff?" So I can't even see him agreeing to that as well. But that would be nice. But you gotta, if that does happen, Raul, I mean, they better do it pregame because the game will stop. Yeah. The game will stop in this track because the crowd would just be so loud. Yeah, they flash them on the screen.
Yeah, man. And it would be such a great moment. But then obviously we have to be something that Pop would agree to because. I'm sure if the camera got on, I'm sure he'd be upset and probably waving the camera off and threatening to fire someone for putting them on camera.
Yeah, forgot. Yeah, he just because he retired from coaching, he hasn't retired from the team. Everybody, just remember that he's still the president of the organization. By the way, you saw him at a Spurs event, did he? How did he look?
He looked good. I mean, he's walking with he had like a kind of a long silver cane, or like little walking device and. He's starting to put on weight again.
Okay, that's good.
His face looks healthier. He was kind of far away. He saw what was going on, and he kind of watched from afar. And then he was walking with Tim Duncan and some other people. So kind of saw what was going on and kind of looked for a little bit, then walked away after about a minute or two. Obviously didn't want to distract from what was going on with De'Aaron Fox and his wife Reese, giving away Christmas gifts and celebrating Christmas with some kids. But he looked better than he did, when he appeared at Mitch Johnson's press conference. Looks like he's still working to get back to where he was, or some semblance of that. But he looked good. His face looked healthy, and he looked happy.
Good. I'm glad to hear. Yeah, maybe that'll happen, but ultimately, I think the odds are slim if Pop would agree to that. I mean, there's a reason why he's kind of tucked away during games and nobody sees him. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want that. So yeah, but it kind of like I guess the stocking stuffer here for me would be okay. Fine, if Pop's gonna go out there, cool, and his public appearance at a game. But what would be the cherry on top would be him flanked by Tony, Manu, and TP. I mean, that'd be great.
That would be awesome. Maybe have Sean somewhere over there. Him picking on Sean Elliott somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. Hey, well, what about y'all? Y'all got some Christmas presents that you would love to give to the Spurs? Let us know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone and Raul at Dominguez Cinco. Raul, what's cooking in your neighborhood?
Just kind of preparing for the this great Christmas schedule with the Spurs, other teams, and that's going to be NBA's the viewership is up, and rightfully so. Great teams, great storylines. NBA's finally spotlighting other teams besides other teams and other players besides Steph and LeBron. Like they're embracing this young group that's coming up, and Luka, Wemby, Shea. So I'm looking forward to the Christmas Day schedule.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's a young player. It's a shame that Cooper Flag is having a great season, but he's not getting any attention. You notice that?
Yeah.
He's having a phenomenal rookie year,
Mhm.
but like it's just Dallas is just Dallas right now and not playing well, and Nico and yeah. So, oh well. But he'll definitely be a problem for the league and the Spurs, and he'll probably be a problem for the Spurs down the road. All right, everybody. Again, we thank y'all for making time to join us here on Locked On Spurs. We appreciate it. Keep those subscription numbers going up. You can subscribe at Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. You know what to do. Go subscribe right now. Thank you for making the Locked On Sports Network the #1 sports network in the land. By the way, you want to sign up for the Everydayers Club. So what is that? It's just a way for you to get shows like Locked On Spurs, ad-free, access to a Discord channel. This is called the Everydayers Club. It's in the description below on YouTube. Just click that link, go there, check it out, sign up today. Raul, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us here. Get that Christmas shopping done. He's waited till the last freaking minute, everybody. Way to go, Raul.
I always do. I always do.
Nice job. Yeah. Well, I guess that's just the way it is. You always wait till the last minute. Everybody does. Yes, and so did I, Raul. So did I. Raul, again, happy Christmas. Merry Christmas, I should say, to you and yours. And be safe and be happy with your family. And we thank y'all again. Thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first spot every single day. Again, likely not tomorrow. I'm going to take the day off. There's a chance that we might have something over for you on Friday. It'll be a more of a fun episode. We're going to get away from the schedule and the games for a while and just have a really, really good, fun barbershop talk about the Spurs. And I think y'all going to like it. So we're going to get that together for you. But for Raul Dominguez, I am Jeff Garcia. And we're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.